obviously what people would want to know is just what happened there. I know you can maybe not tell everything what happened, but give us some sense of what you can about your recollection of that morning.
Well, any details regarding specifically what happened that morning, including chain of events, um, circumstances, how they unfolded, I really can't answer that at this point because of the legal proceedings.
Okay. How about, can you at least tell us about the feeling of the pain when the bullet went through? I mean, tell us about, describe to us that sensation or what.
Well, to be honest, the way the body kicks in, and depending on a person's mindset, the pain was very minimal at the point. Um, I would say adrenaline is what took care of that. And it wasn't until basically the paramedics were there and preparing me for transport that I would say the adrenaline wore off and the pain set in. Um, the ride to the hospital, yeah, that was painful.
Did you think that you might die at that point?
No, I didn't. Um, my only fear was passing out, going to sleep. That may be an issue, but I felt if I remained awake and got down to the hospital and let the doctors do their job, that I'd pull through in one way, shape, form, or another.
Yeah. Was it? I mean, I've got to believe that it's been an incredible ordeal to try to come through this. I mean, you've had support. I know a lot of people have been there helping you, but has it just been a really a task to try to just sometimes just to make it through each day?
I've had my good days and my bad days. From a physical pain standpoint, from a mental standpoint, such as not being able to eat. um, but I've had excellent support from my wife and friends and my brothers and sisters within the law enforcement community and even complete strangers. And that support has, along with my faith, has I feel really made this more bearable. Um, it's given me a lot of strength and a lot of insight.
Police officers, in my experience with dealing with them over years, can be like media people, somewhat cynical, just because we see things that many of the people in the public don't see. Did this event in any way shape you, give you a little of a negative bent toward humanity because of what those people did, or has it actually done the opposite? Has you actually have a new, improved outlook, so to speak, on life because of all of this?
In all honesty, pretty much the same outlook. I mean, I've been doing this job for enough years that I know there's many, many good people out there, and I know there's bad people out there, and even those that I would label as evil. Um, and I had that perception before, and that perception hasn't changed.
Can you just talk about, either one of you, about just this idea of how you probably realized who your real friends are and how you really do have more friends maybe out there than you even realize when something like this comes about? And how about this community support? Was it just overwhelming to you?
It was very overwhelming. The little town of Waterloo pulled together, and it was just so overwhelming. I kind of get upset. I don't know if I can do it.
All right. Take a deep breath.
Friends, people we didn't even know, people in the community, DeKalb County, everywhere, Allen County, the police officers, family, friends, everybody pulled together and gave us the strength that we needed to get through this. And that's what helped us get through this. I don't think we could have done it without everybody's help.
Were there some times when you kind of wondered, my gosh, how are we going to get through this?
Oh yeah, there was times when I felt weak and thought, oh my gosh, you know. But everybody was there. Everybody was there the day of. Everybody's been there since. The cards on the wall, I put those up when we got home, and as they came in, I put more up. And I call it the wall of inspiration, because there's so many people there that we don't even know that has sent cards and you know, let us know that they're thinking about us, and that's what's given us the strength to really carry through with this.
Tell me a little bit about the benefit and where, when, and who's invited, and how it's going to be very important, I think, for you guys.
The benefit is February 4th. I think it begins at 2 o'clock, and it's at the Eagles in Butler. And anybody's invited. They're going to have an auction, a silent auction, and they're going to have our good friend Jimmy does comic and magic, so he's going to do that. And I guess there's going to be a band there called Marshal Law. It was pretty ironic, but I think it's going to be a good turnout. The community is pulled together for everything as it is now.
And how about, and tell us about how that will benefit you guys, how it will help you, based on those that come and support.
It'll help us financially get through. I'm going to be without pay for a little while. My vacation runs out the 29th, so after that point, I'm going to have to be off at least until he's capable of eating. He can't be home alone with his mouth wired shut right now, and I'm still stomach feeding him as well for nutrition. So as soon as that all transpires, then I can get back to work. But there's going to be a lack of income there.
Not to say that either one of you didn't already know that police work was a dangerous thing, but given this event, has that affected either one of your attitudes about going back to eventually doing police work? I guess you're going back, but I mean, did it ever make you stop for a while and think, do I really want to do this?
Initially, yeah, you know, maybe the first 48 hours of this incident, maybe, but no, it's what we do, you know. It's what I love to do. I love to help people, and that's what I want to go back to doing.
I have every desire and every intent to return back to work as a police officer. Given some of my injuries, it still remains to be seen just to what degree I'm going to fully recover. And because of that, I suppose there is a possibility that I would not recover well enough to return to the job, but I'm optimistic that I will recover that much, and if I can recover to that point, I have every intention of returning to the job. That's what I've always wanted to do.
What is it about it for you that makes you so passionate about it? I think you kind of described your feelings. What is it that's made you so passionate about doing that job?
Well, I just always grew up. I was your typical kid, growing up wanting to be a police officer, and I actually started my law enforcement career at the age of 23 with the Indiana State Police as a dispatcher. And I dispatched with the state police for a little over 10 years. And, decided at that point I was aging enough that if I was going to pursue my career to be a police officer out on the street, that I best do it then. So I did, and started at Waterloo in 1998.
You mentioned if you fully recover, is anybody giving you percentage or giving you a sense of there's an 80% chance you'll fully recover? They haven't really talked along those lines yet?
No, not at all.
The outcome in this case was there was two of the two suspects. One died and one was injured and is now charged. Is there anything about the outcome of this that has in any way provided you any solace or consolation as someone who is a victim of a horrendous crime?
The consolation for me in this is not so much from a victim standpoint. The consolation for me is that the two people involved in this, in my opinion, posed a very distinct and clear danger. Obviously not only to police officers, but very much so to the general public. And the consolation is that those two now are not a threat to the public or law enforcement in general. And that's my greatest consolation. They posed a very definitive threat, and they currently are not.
Okay. Let's just let me ask you this then, for either one of you. Anything that you'd like to say that I didn't ask that you think is important to say on any of the subjects that we've either talked about or didn't talk about, but something you'd really like to say, either one of you?
Yes, I would like to thank everybody who has shown us support, who has kept us in their thoughts and their prayers, who have made financial donations, people we know, people we don't know. I can't thank everybody enough for anything and everything that they have done, from just a simple prayer to a donation to a visit. The support has been overwhelming, and I can't express how much I appreciate it.
I know that we've been kind of kept up to date as far as your progress. Are you able to kind of, now that we have you on tape, are you able to talk about the extent of your injuries, kind of what the rehab has been like? We talked about that off camera a little bit before we started, but
Certainly. The injuries pretty much that I sustained is several fractures in my jaw. That's when my mouth is wired shut. The lower orbit of my left eye was completely shattered. In effect, the roof of my mouth and a lot of the bone structure within my face was shattered as well. It's my understanding. One of the doctors described my damage to my wife as basically someone dropping a glass, and now a glass shatters. That's in effect what type of bone structure damage I had. Obvious lasting effect is I currently have a diminished hearing in my left ear, because in plain English my left eardrum is blown out, as well as I have sustained some permanent nerve damage regarding my hearing in my left ear as well. I have seen a specialist. He's optimistic that through surgery they can in effect repair the eardrum, and they're optimistic that I would regain, in the doctor's words, a substantial amount of my hearing in my left ear until that procedure would be complete. And to what level of healing would take place, then they would be able to in effect assign a percentage, if you will. My left eye, it's hard to describe. My vision in my left eye, the only way I could describe it is at any focal point, anything that I look at, a person's face, a cup, an object, just above that focal point is a horizontal line that is blurred and shadowed. That's in effect the type of vision I have in my left eye. The doctors have not come up with an explanation as of yet, and I have further testing to take place in my left eye to try to determine what can be done, if anything, to correct my vision.
You said besides that vision issue, you said the left orbit. Would you saw the left? Describe it again.
The lower orbit, the lower portion of the eye socket was completely shattered. There's actually mesh that has been used on that lower portion to rebuild and shape and keep my eye in position.
Yes, 4 plates and screws from here all the way around.
Oh yeah, can you use your hand to describe where those plates are?
She would know that better than I.
Yeah, go ahead.
She's seen the
On him?
the
Yeah, go ahead and
X-rays.
just kind of point
Yeah,
out where.
he has screws, I believe, up here and some down here, but this all had to be rebuilt. This was all shattered inside.
Now is the
And this
pain
is it.
all over these different places, or is it
Turn this
particularly
way.
worse in one place than another?
Turn this way. That was the entrance wound right there.
Okay. And it went at this angle down to.
It went at an angle like this and came out his lower earlobe It actually blew this earlobe off, and they reattached it away from the.
What kind of a weapon was it? I don't remember.
I believe it was a 44.
It was a 44 special caliber, is my understanding.